Evening and welcome to the third round of the Institute of Mechanical Engineering Formula Student Sim Racing Series. I'm Giles Cosgrove, very excited to be bringing you this third round. We're going racing in Portugal with the Mazda MX-5 Cup Series. So all cars will be Mazda MX-5s, glorious little sports cars. Really excited for that. I'm Giles Cosgrove. I am the lead commentator. I'm also being joined by Monty, who is the event captain for the series. We bring you two races live on YouTube. It's going to be absolutely first rate. Two races back to back, bit of a break in between. And we have got all the details on the competition for you as things stand. Going into this race, we've got a track temperature of 22 degrees Celsius. It's looking mild with a chance of rain for the drivers. It's thrown a lot of people in qualifying. A lot of people went on wets expecting the track to be slippy, and it turned out that you were better off on dries. We had a shock in the top tier race for qualifying. On pole, we have the Universidad de Leon. My Spanish is appalling, but they are from Spain, and they have shocked the teams here this weekend by claiming pole in the first race for the top tier. We've got two tiers, remember? You've got, of course, your top tier for the teams that qualified best, and then the bottom tier for the rest of the teams who didn't qualify from the top. That'll be two races, so you've got two races for the bottom and two races for the top. You watching on YouTube will be watching the top tier racing, and going on concurrently will be the bottom tier as well. Now, if you really want to be geeky, then you can join me on Instagram as well. So right now you should be able to see me, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Monty, but you should be able to see me talking you through today's racing. And if during the racing you want to see how excited I'm getting, how flappy I'm getting, you can watch me live on Instagram. I'm at Giles_Cosgrove, streaming live on Instagram from the central building at Cardiff University School of Engineering. Monty, what do you reckon of the results in qualifying? A bit of a turn for the books. University de Leon claiming pole.
It was a pleasant surprise. The drizzly conditions have really thrown us out there. Some people gambled on the wets, some people have gambled on the slicks, and yeah, it's a bit of a topsy-turvy result going into the first race. The weather's not clear-cut either. There are virtual thunderstorms on their way to the track. It's a question of when the rain is going to arrive. Is it going to affect the races or not? Yeah, it's already affected the qualifying because some of the main championship protagonists are going to have to do it from the middle of the field. Glasgow, Southampton in particular, they're only 8th on the grid. So they've got a little bit of work to do to get back up to the front. And yeah, even the best laid out plans could be thrown out the window if this rain gets any heavier. We'll show you some virtual pictures in a couple of minutes. We're just waiting for the developers to launch the servers. Thought it would be a good thing just to add here though, Giles. So as Giles mentioned before, guys, so we have a top tier and a bottom tier server. The reason for that is because we have 46 universities entered in the series this year. So Giles, if I may, I'm just going to show our full entry list just so people can see the variety of universities here, because it's not just in Britain that we have taking part this year. There you are, guys. You can see on the screen now. So we have from both ends of the world, really. We have some teams entered in from Thailand, Asia, Middle East as well. Even on the other side of the Atlantic, we have from some Canadian universities taking part, and then a heck of a lot of European universities, as well as the big British, lots of the universities from Britain as well. My apologies. It's a big field, 46 cars. It's too many to get on the one server, hence why we've decided to split it into two halves. So what we are live streaming tonight are those who qualified. The fastest 20 in qualifying are put into the top tier server. That's who we're going to be live streaming tonight. The remainder of the field will be battling it out for the remainder of the points in the bottom tier server. We'll still let you know how they got on, because their points and their positions will still impact what the championship will look like by the end of this. So even though you may not see them in tonight's race, you may still see their names come the end of tonight's racing, because they still racked up enough points in the lower tier server to still make an impact there.
Now, it should be worth noting that for those that aren't exactly familiar with computers and video gaming, when we say say servers, we're talking about tracks. We've got 2 replicated tracks, the exact same track twice, and then we split the field across those 2 tracks evenly. So you've got those that are fastest in the top tier and those that weren't quite fast enough in the bottom tier. That's how it works. So, in pole, the surprise so far this Saturday is that Universidad de Leon are in pole. Very exciting stuff for the team from Spain. Teams to watch, as ever, we've got eyes on Southampton, eyes on Glasgow, eyes on Staffordshire. All have been doing remarkably well in this sim racing series. It is all to play for then, with the weather playing havoc with the team's setups, and have had some feedback from some of the drivers. They're not particular fans of the MX-5, weren't able to warm to it, as it were, during qualifying. So that will play a large part in the results of this race, because again, the sim racing series that the Formula Student put on is all about adaptability, just as much about racing, because you've got to choose your tyre setup and what have you, and that's all about the engineering aspect. You've also got to be able to adapt to each different car, because every single race we've got different car types throughout. So that's a real major factor in the success of these teams, is the ability of the drivers to adapt to the different cars, just as much the tracks and of course the tyre setups and the conditions and all of that. So it is variable from month to month, each competition, who's going to be doing the best.
Yep, I fully agree with you on that one. It's a mixed bag, really, isn't it? And we've seen so far in the first 2 races, we had GT3s in round 1. Last time out, we were in Formula 4 Tatus cars. Tonight, we're in MX-5s. The second half of the season has not been announced yet. We don't want to let any of the students or teams get an unfair advantage on practicing too much, though Wolverhampton seem to be the exception to the rule, because they've done about another 300 to 400 laps of practice for tonight's race. So some people, as you can see, are very, very committed to it, and they want to win, and they're willing to put it in. But obviously, we've all got degrees to do as well. That's maybe not me anymore, my days are gone for that, but yeah, definitely all these students have degrees still to do, so we don't want to take that away from their actual academia, but at the same time we still want to make it worth their while as well. So to help with that, after tonight's race, we're going to be having a chat with them afterwards and announcing what the remaining 4 combinations are going to look like.
It's so secret, I don't even know. I've got no idea what's coming up. I'm just as excited to find out as the teams are. So today we are at Circuit Portimão. I can't do Spanish.
Portimão. Have some flair in there, Giles.
Well, there you go. I should say I can't do Spanish, and it's Portugal. That shows how good my geography is. But we're at a circuit in Portugal, and we're racing Mazda MX-5. It's got mixed conditions, as we've been discussing. There are thunderstorms simulated in the area. We're trying to make it as real as possible, but we all know it's ones and zeros. But a man can dream. And all cars are on the same compound of tyre for this race, which is really exciting. So that means that each car should ebb and flow in terms of its tyre performance alongside the rest of the field. So above all of the noise and confusion, everyone should be equally placed in terms of their tyre performance. 15 of the 46 teams, however, are using their Joker tonight. Now that means their ballast has been removed, and it means the cars are 45 kilos lighter. So not everyone exactly evenly matched. Some cars lighter, quicker through the corners as a result. So actually, no, quicker down the straights. That would be it's really exciting stuff.
It's been very interesting tactics because, for context, guys, each team was allowed to use their Joker once during these first 3 races. A lot of them have opted to wait until now, once the compounds are all equal. And so what they've done is use their softer compounds earlier in the season to compensate, to try and keep their competitive advantage going that way. And they've waited until now that everyone's on the same compound, to say, okay, I want to use my Joker tonight. So interesting tactics all around. But having said that, if there's rain tonight, surely you want the extra weight for the extra grip. Who knows? Who knows? It's so many things to consider. So we have no idea who's going to win it tonight, guys. We have no idea who's going to have the competitive advantage. There's just one way we're going to be able to see, and that's by getting onto the server and seeing the races. The server is going to be launching up in the next 60 seconds. So before we hop on over to there, Giles, shall we show them what the championship standings look like as we go into the 3rd round of the night?
Let's get into it, shall we?
Fantastic. So on your screen now, guys, here are what the top 20 look like, and look at that at the top. Bolton are currently leading on 164 points, Southampton second on 162, and Glasgow third on 160. There are a maximum of 100 points available per round. So that 4 points between the top three is outrageously close. Wolverhampton, don't rule them out yet. They're still only 12 points behind in fourth on 152, and Hull fifth on 135. As I
see me adjusting my.
Oh, sorry, Giles. Go ahead.
You may be able to see. You won't be able to see me actually because you've got the standings up at the moment. But there's a lot of comments on YouTube saying that I'm rather quiet, and I'm hoping that by moving closer to my microphone, that's improved things. But if Monty, you could give me a little boost, that would be ideal. I must admit, I'm using my old microphone that's portable. I've got a better one at home, but it's kind of static. So do bear with me. I hope that's an improvement in terms of the quality of sound. How's that sounding? If you could let us know in the comments, that would be great. Monty, if you could give me a little boost, that would be ideal.
Way ahead of you on that one, Giles. I've just boosted you up quite nicely. I've been told our servers are live, so I'm trying to get us some live pictures from Portimão. Looking at the server, a lot of people are on wets at the moment. It's the 5-minute warm-up, and oh, good grief, yes, it is definitely looking wet out there. So let's start sharing some screens in there. Giles, I'll put the window back onto us for a second. And viewers at home, you're probably now able to hear what's going on the server there. I just need a minute to make sure that we've got our pictures all good to go. So, yep, that looks pretty tasty to me.
Considering the driver feedback I had earlier today, where a lot of them were suggesting...
I've lost my button. There we go. Fantastic. There, ladies and gentlemen, will hopefully be your live pictures coming through. Wonderful. So we are just following on with UWE at the moment. Giles, I am launching the little room for you as well, so you can see what the audience are seeing as well. There you go, sir. We've just got a couple of minutes of warm-up to go, guys, before they form up the grid for the actual race. And we'll be good to go. Right, Giles, the room is live. Are you getting pictures on your side?
Than it was in qualifying. So, all teams racing in Mazda MX-5s. The commentary on YouTube suggesting that actually the MX-5s are rather difficult to get right. They take quite a bit of skill according to Bunker Projects when all you can drive are Formula cars. So that's entirely fair enough indeed.
Yeah, some strong comments coming on here tonight, but that's nice. Up the UGR dub incoming, still quiet. Thank you, Ish, for the heads up there. I've just boosted up Giles to the absolute max now, so that is hopefully the top we can do there, Giles.
Fingers crossed.
I'll turn down a couple of the other settings to compensate for it. Guys, if you could let me know what that's like. Don't worry about the cars floating off in the distance there. That's just the server beginning to load for the next for the grid formation, so you may see some cars floating away for a second there. Giles, is your picture coming through?
My picture's coming through. I'm hoping that the volume might be a little better. If I need to start projecting and shouting, I can do.
No worries, no worries. Well, I'm on max volume now for Giles. I've turned down the gain volume just so we can hear your wonderful voice a little clearer, Giles. And hopefully between all of that, that will work well, guys.
Hopefully that will improve things.
Alrighty, so we are just looking at the last bits here, and look at that rain. It's still quite dry on the track, but that rain looks to be coming down a little bit heavier, so this should be interesting to see what happens in this race. Giles, who's your money on?
Looking absolutely sodden out there in Portugal. James, no, I can't.
Ah, there you are. You're back again, sir. Oh, all this fibre optics and stuff, and it never seems to work when you want it to. Right, I can hear you now. Safe driving tonight, lads, from Andrew Oh, do I want to say that's Jappers or Yappers? Go on, Andrew. Tell me how we should pronounce it, please. Alrighty, Giles. I can hear you again now if you're still there, sir. Nothing like a technical hitch just before race is due to start. Thankfully, we've still got another 60 seconds before the grids get formed. So, let's keep this going. We're just waiting for the last couple of runners to finish their warm-up now. Don't worry, it's still warm-up. They can crash if they want. They'll have a fresh car for the race, guys. So if we see anyone spin off, I'm not going to get too excited about it just yet. It'll be fine.
What we can get excited about is the fact that I can hear you again, James. We're back. We're all good.
Oh, fantastic. Welcome back, Giles. Glad you could join us. Just in time for the race. Look at that. Grid forming. Giles' voice is back. Who's your money on?
I'll be honest with you, I would really like to see Universidad de Leon do really well here. I think this could be a really exciting race for them. They've qualified in pole, much to everyone's astonishment. They made the right choices during qualifying. Hopefully they can make the right choices during the race as well.
I have my fingers crossed for them. This really was a stonking qualifying performance from them. Obviously, I'm not going to rule out our usual championship protagonists, even though they're in the midfield here. Glasgow, we know they have seriously raw pace. They demonstrated that quite nicely in the first two races. And Wolverhampton, I think they'd be a little bit disappointed only being 10th on the grid, given how many laps of practice they've done. But will that extra practice give them a bit of an advantage compared to everyone else in these mixed conditions? Do they know where the grip is going to be found? We'll find out in about 2 minutes' time, because we're on the countdown now.
Here we are then, live on YouTube. You can catch us. This is the Formula Student Sim Racing Series. We're in Portugal for the Mazda MX-5 Cup on pole. To everyone's astonishment, it's the Universidad de Leon. It's the University of Salford in second, UE in third. In fourth, it's University of Glasgow Racing in fifth. NCME, that is, of course,
Bolton, our championship leaders.
Bolton. Would help if I knew that was that, wouldn't it? There we go.
Don't worry. In sixth, we have Coventry. Seventh, it's Sheffield Hallam. Welcome back to the series, guys. Glad to see you can make it tonight. Southampton, last year's championship winners. They are eighth. Cardiff in ninth, and rounding out the top 10 is the University of Wolverhampton. Now I'm just looking on our tree here, so it looks like the drivers in this race, two of our drivers have very long names, and it's overwrote what the naming convention should be. So Leon Clavillo is Leon's driver, so he's just taken over the whole bit there. And Muir in 14th there, that is Hull. Guillaume Lemaire, just very long names, so we may need to see if we can tweak that for the second race, or hope that they have drivers with shorter names taking part in race 2.
Fingers crossed. We're hoping that you can hear me. It's Giles Cosgrove, lead commentator. We've got event captain James Montgomery with me in the comms box. We are live from a simulated Portugal for round 3 of the IMECI Formula Student Sim Racing Series. On pole is Leon. In Salford is second. UE third. That is and the top 4 there. The first 2 rows. University of Glasgow Racing rounding out the first 2 rows then. 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4 light, 5 light, 6 lights. Here we go then. And they're off. Heading down towards turn 1. It's a sweeping right-hander. The rain is really kicking in now. That grip is not going to be there into turn 1. On fresh tyres, sweeping away they go. And immediately action down into turn 1. We've got a lot of action there. I can't even see. The grid is all over the place.
We've got some
Bolton.
crashes, and who says that? Southampton going off? Oh, yes it is. Southampton have spun. Last year's championship leaders are out.
Bolton are in first. In second is UE. Salford up into third. Leon down in fourth. Cardiff, Aaron Farmer making a storming charge from ninth into fourth, into the first 2 rows there. You can see the first 3 are really bunched together, and then Cardiff holding off Leon just about having made that move stick, but there's plenty of traffic, and Leon spinning away there down the grid. As I said, the grip just isn't there for these teams at the moment. Bolton not happy in the lead. Plenty of pressure from Huey and Salford there. Cardiff coming right in, and as Bolton begin to hold up the second and third place cars, that gives the opportunity for Cardiff and the rest of the pack to catch up. This is going to be properly exciting stuff, I can tell already. We've got 23 minutes ahead of us, and the rain is coming down in spades in Portugal.
I'll tell you what, I'm just looking at the tree here. There's only 3 drivers on slicks. Everyone else have opted for wets here. Leon opted for the slicks. I think we've already seen how that's gone for them. Coventry are on the slicks, and Sheffield Hallam in 11th position are also on the slicks. Everyone else are on the wets. Definitely have an advantage at the moment for instant grip. If it gets any wetter, they're in trouble. If it gets any drier, I think they're going to be laughing. But, oh, what fun for the first lap, Giles.
An astounding opening lap there for the third round of Formula Student Sim Racing. In pole, we have, of course, University of Bolton, Salford in second, in third it's UE, fourth Cardiff. Rounding out your top 4 there, then.
Here we are.
There's drama down at the rear. Leon just not able to find that grip.
I get the feeling those on slicks are really regretting this. Sheffield Hallam is the only one just about hanging on with those slicks at the moment. The other 2 completely overwhelmed, and it looks like that's Leon, our pole sitters Leon, are back into the pits. There they are. They've given up, swapping onto the wets, and what a shame. That's their race essentially over.
Having said that, we've seen it time and again in this series so far. Teams making astounding comebacks from the back of the grid. That could happen, but then again, most of that's happened when they've gone off track. They haven't actually gone into the pits. That's going to be a major delay. How much can they claw back is the question. On board now with the University of Salford.
Now something's happened there. Something's happened to Salford. They were in the top 3. It looks like they've had a spin, Giles, because they're down to 8th now.
They are down to 8th. They're battling out with Bolton, who've been clawing their way back. There's a lot of drama going on. University of Wales, Trinity St David up to 5th there, battling with University of Wolverhampton. Hull getting amongst it as well then, as they go round the outside, going wide there for University of Wales, Trinity St David. That's not great. A lot of cars taking advantage of that, pushing them off the track into the gravel. This is a real tight battle between Salford and Trinity St David, or is that Hull? Everyone's so bunched together at the moment. The drama is just everywhere you look. It's
very unforgiving driving what's going on there. I think it was and there we go.
That's very tight indeed.
Oh. Wow.
Salford rearranging the bodywork of Trinity St David there.
Wow. Didn't need a second invitation there, was it? It was a ring on the...
I think there was plenty of room for both cars there. That's a little tight from Salford. I think that's a little aggressive. As they go down there into one of the last turns, heading down towards the pitch straight then. 20 minutes to go. Bolton having secured a rather comfortable lead of 2.5 seconds ahead of Huey. Cardiff up to 3rd. Great drive from Aaron Farmer, who started in 9th.
Songler, our Thai University, are up to 4th. Now, they were down in the bottom half of the field, so they've had a fantastic start, kept their nose clean. After the end of the second lap, they're up to 4th. Brilliant driving from them. Now, it looks like we've lost Giles again for a second there, so...
You haven't lost me, I'm just concentrating.
Oh, thank goodness. Oh, having a slight heart failure there. That's all good.
Don't panic.
That's all right.
University of Glasgow down in 7th. What happened to them? They were up in the top 3 to begin with. They're down now in 7th. We know what they can do. They've got the pure pace, but so far they haven't exactly been lucky in terms of their results. Hoping, I imagine, they'll be able to turn something around here in Portugal. Is it me, or is the rain getting a little lighter? I can't quite tell from here, but it looks to me to be getting a little lighter. The sun nowhere to be seen in Portugal, which is unusual for Portugal. On board there with UGR. The visibility is absolutely dire for these drivers. Windscreen wipers working as hard as they can to get the spray off those windshields, but I wouldn't want to be driving in these conditions. It looks absolutely vile. And not to mention University of Glasgow. I've got Trinity St David all over their rear end at the moment. You can see on top of your screens there the rear view mirror, and it is just Trinity St David following, looking for a way round, looking to the inside, looking to the outside, trying to find a way round Glasgow, trying to under-brake them, but not quite at the moment.
Now, back in the day of karting, they would call this driving through your backside, or essentially unleashing your sixth sense. It's wet, but it's not soaking wet. The spray is there, but it's just on the windscreen wipers for now, guys. It's not on the track. There's not a significant spray coming off these cars. So there are dry lines. There are definitely damp lines. You've got to guess where the grip is, because the normal dry racing line in these conditions is going to be slippy. The rubber is there on the track, and it's now going to turn to ice. So you're going to see some adventurous driving lines, I think, from some of these drivers as they try and find where the grip is. And it looks like Wolverhampton have just managed to use that to get a nice slingshot on Southwood as we go down the straight. Oh, contact there. Who's going to be first into turn one? It's neck and neck. Here we go again. Salford still got the inside. There's contact. They've both survived. Two off the track. Salford's still on the track. Oh, but Wolverhampton have somehow managed to get up to fifth after all of that. Proper butt-clenching moments going on there, guys.
The three of them going at it, trying to get fifth. Someone's going to get it. Who is it going to be? That is the question. Wolverhampton just holding on Salford, but Salford really want that position, and it's all gone skew with there. And do you know who's come through for that? I hope people can hear me. I sincerely hope they can. So you're on board right now with the University of Salford holding off University of Glasgow, and then Wolverhampton are back there having gone wide. Right now, here we go, then Sheffield University, I think that is, slipping down the rankings to 17. Plenty of drama going on throughout the grid. You'll have to forgive me for pausing earlier. I've lost James, so you're just left with me. Good luck. Going wide there, as we were saying. Oh dear, contact then between Sheffield and who was that? I missed that. There was contact there, and this is what James was saying. The track turns into ice, and you end up with some really exuberant driving lines. On board then with OUR. Oh my God! I couldn't resist. You have to forgive me. OUR there. Obada University. That's from Hungary. So we're on board with them as they come down the pit straight, looking for a way around the car in number 16, the University of South Wales. A lot of Welsh teams on track today, as Obada try and find a way around, closing in on the team there. This is really exciting stuff. Meanwhile, the 18 UPR battling it out with Kingston for 13th position, making the gains there. These cars aren't the easiest to drive at the best of times. I've heard some plenty of feedback saying that, and remember, it is raining hard in Portugal. A lot of those teams that chose the slicks really regretted that, ended up in the pits very quickly, going wide round there. That is our friends and yours, that is Sonkler. They've been up in third at some points, but they're back down now in ninth. The rain playing havoc with the positions here. Three abreast going into this tight right-hander. Oh, dearie me, slipping and sliding all over the place like a baby deer. It's Bambi kicking the tail out, just about holding it there. Some nice driving from Sonkler. There is no grip on this track at all, and it is playing havoc with the positioning. Everyone up and down the running order. At the moment, in pole, we've got Bolton in second. It's UE third, Cardiff, Salford in fourth, University of Wolverhampton in fifth, University of Wales, Trinity St David in sixth. So on board now then with University of Glasgow Racing. They've been one of our favourite teams at this event over the course of the series. They're down at the moment in 8th, looking for 7th, trying to get past the car in 7th there, which is our University of Southampton. plenty of nose knocking on the door of the rear of Southampton, but not a lot of position at the moment. There's nowhere to go. Going wide around the sweeping right-hander that closes out the lap, heading, diving down towards the start-finish straight. Can Glasgow find a way round is the question. Right now, it's not looking like it. Southampton holding firm. There they go. Down the outside as they go to turn 1. Can Glasgow make this stick? I don't think they can. But Southampton just about holding on there. Glasgow going wide of 2 abreast, and Southampton just about making this work, holding off the Glaswegians. The Glaswegians, we know, plenty of pace, plenty of aggression, but not a lot of results thus far, and they are just sticking it to the rear of Southampton, knocking on the door rather loudly, but Southampton are just ignoring it. They put their rear defenders on. I can't hear you, they're saying. I'm going to hold firm. This is great stuff, great defensive driving from Southampton. Glasgow going there, trying to find a way round, but remember, if they go off that driving line, the grip's going to get even worse. They're closing the gap. It can't be that much at the moment. This is exciting stuff. I can't believe I'm seeing this. Brilliant. In the rain, in Portugal, Mazda MX-5 on the same compound. You can hear the thunder and lightning there, so the rain's not going to abate for a fair old while. And you know who else isn't abating? It's Southampton. They are holding firm in 7th. University of Glasgow Racing desperate to climb up that pecking order. They were in the top 4. They are doing more. They want to get back there. And at the moment, Southampton are really putting up a strong fight. Some great defensive driving. Every time Glasgow get close, there's another corner and they immediately lose it again. They've got the straight line speed, but they haven't got the places on track to actually make a move. The grip is not there. If you go off that racing line, you'll be slipping and sliding. As you can see there, every time Glasgow go offline, they lose grip and they lose momentum. Trying to get away are Southampton, and they're doing a damn good job as far as I can make out. This is exciting stuff. I keep saying that because it really is. I'm on the edge of my seat. You can catch me on Instagram at Giles_Cosgrove. I'm live on there. You can see my reactions. But who would want to see my face when you can watch this instead? Southampton holding firm, opening the gap between themselves and Glasgow. This is unbelievable defensive driving from Southampton. Last year's winners, I believe. I do have to be corrected if I am wrong, but this battle has been really intense, and I do think Southampton have made it work for themselves. Glasgow just trailing back, fading away, trying to come back again there, but every time another corner arrives, and Glasgow just can't make this work at the moment.
I'm back, Giles.
Marvellous.
Hello.
Lovely to hear your voice.
Hello, what a fantastic battle this has been to watch so far. The 2 main championship protagonists battling it out for 7th position whilst the 3rd one's off in the lead, and here we go again.
Here we go again, down the inside. Can they finally make it work? It's Glasgow, and they've done it! And Southampton come back again, they're side by side! Who's going to get the position? This is fantastic racing! University of Glasgow are nose ahead in 7th position, battling with Southampton, going towards this right-hander here, and Southampton really want that position back. They didn't close the door. Southampton took a move down the inside.
Nice run.
And they made that stick. Southampton coming back against Glasgow. Glasgow have got the inside line. They should be able to hold this position, but this is really close now. And remember, if they go off the racing line, there's not a lot of grip, and Southampton have got the inside line here. If they can if they've outbreak Glasgow, they're back in 7th. They've come back to take the position away from the Scots. Side by side they go. These 2 teams desperate for this 7th position. Nearly contact. Unbelievable. Both teams managing to hold firm in the wet. Some great racing here. And Glasgow have gone down the inside, and I think they've really got that one to stick now. I think they've gone away, yes.
I think I think Southampton may have given that position away. I think they may have felt a bit guilty about that last turn there. They kind of locked up an inside wheel and went into the door of Glasgow there. So I think they may have given that position back just through as a very good gesture will. But now for their good deeds, they're about to be punished and lose another position.
Thailand, Songkla have come for the position. Staffordshire dropped down into 9th. They showed mercy, and in Formula Student Sim Racing, you show mercy, you lose position. But they've got the inside line here, but it looks like Songler have made that stick. Southampton down into 9th. and Coventry look like they want a bit of the action as well.
This is by far the best and the closest racing going across in the whole field at the moment. Six cars going for us, and here we go. Songler up into 8th, Southampton to 9th. Actually, they're losing a bit more time here now. They're about to lose a position to Coventry, the top position on slicks. Here we go, at the inside.
Coventry going down the inside, trying to find a way past Staffordshire. Staffordshire really wanting to... Southampton, what am I on about Staffordshire? Southampton there, losing position to Coventry.
Oh, here we go now. Hull fancy a piece of this as well. 3 into that corner, it's just not going to work. Very, very wise. Back out of it, get a good exit. Here we go for the next sweepers.
Then. So what we've got at the moment is Southampton in 9th, in 10th, it's Coventry, and Hull are in 11th. There's not much between them because Songler's only just ahead in 8th, and this is all to play for then. So you're on board now, trying to find a way around the inside. Coventry diving down the inside of Staffordshire, Southampton I should say. I thought they were going to have Songler then, one move in 2, but not quite.
Very opportunistic driving. Very opportunistic driving from Coventry there. Songler definitely had their eyes wide open looking in their mirrors there, because that could have ended in disaster. But Coventry up to 9th, the only team making those slicks work for them at the moment, picking off place after place. So even though this drizzle continues, they're somehow managing to get some performance in their tyres and are now up into a top 10 position.
Most teams who started on slicks quickly changed to wets after the tumultuous opening lap where those on the soft tyre were just all over the place, falling down the pecking order. And there is Coventry quite happily making it work up into the top 10. They're in 9th. They've taken Southampton away. Hull, meanwhile, won a bit of Southampton as well by the looks of things, but I would suggest staying with Coventry because they look like they're going to get past Songler from Thailand. You don't know where to look with this race. It's unbelievable stuff.
Yep, 2 passes going on at the same time there. Songler and Coventry, Southampton and Hull. Oh, here we go. Side by side, Southampton and Hull. This is going to be a simple drag race down the hill into the hairpin. Who's going to be ahead? Southampton have the inside. Hull have the pace at the moment. Oh, here we go, guys. Play nice, play nice.
Southampton have got the better line. I reckon they've still got... Yes, they do. They've managed to hold off Hull there. It's all about the line I'm finding with this race this week.
Absolutely. These greasy conditions, it's about just getting the car pointing in the right place so you can hit the throttle. Here we go again. Hull, oh, completely off.
Hull have forced Southampton well wide. Hull should be able to make that work, but Southampton come back, slingshotting around down the inside. They're not willing to give up the fight that easy. They've already lost a couple of positions. They don't want to lose another. But Hull are just about ahead of Southampton, going through there.
Double right-hander. Southampton have the inside again. Oh, and who's that? That's Songler. That's Songler.
Songler have gone. Songler are running down the packing order. Songler gone. Coventry piling the pressure on. They made a mistake. I couldn't see any contact there. I think that was just a spin from Songler. Meanwhile, Southampton have got the attention of everyone.
Oh, and there goes Hull now.
Hull gone. Hull have gone. Southampton putting the pressure on Coventry. Coventry at the moment making it work, but Southampton have got the better line. I think this is Southampton's comeback. Yes, they're up into 8th, taking back the positions they've lost throughout this battle.
Well, this has been fantastic to watch. We've been watching Southampton drop position after position, and then they've gone from 11th back up to 8th in the space of a lap. They're keeping their nose clean. They want the points. They are the most consistent team in this series. So even if they're not in the top 3 every race, they keep on raking in the points. They keep out of trouble. How are they going to respond to Coventry as we go into turn 1?
Going into turn 1 then, Coventry versus Southampton. Southampton
completely off.
Inside. Coventry gone well wide and losing it there.
Yep, nope, that's a foregone conclusion there. Southampton through. Nice try there. Nope, didn't quite work. Hello, Kingston up into 10th. Fantastic. Nice to see them up into the top 10 as well. Another team in the bottom half of the grids in qualifying, keeping their nose clean. And look at this, they're up into the top 10 now, Giles, and going for 9th.
Absolutely fantastic stuff. There was a bit of action earlier on between Salford and Cardiff. We didn't quite get to see it, but I watched the positions swapping around a fair bit. So there's action all over the place. Right now on your screens, Kingston versus Coventry as the battle for 9th hots up. Kingston coming out of nowhere into the top 10 rather gracefully, keeping their nose clean and doing it rather well. So at the moment, Kingston are holding off Coventry. Southampton up ahead in 8th. UGR just got up into 6th. Right now we're on board with Aaron Farmer driving for Cardiff University, holding off Salford there. As you can see on your screens, the multicoloured swap shot that is Cardiff's car with Salford all over its rear end.
Salford.
Down the inside, go Salford. Cardiff not able to hold the position at the moment. What can Aaron Farmer do here as Salford sweep into the top 3 and look to have made the move stick? Slingshotting round the inside. Can Cardiff respond through this right-hander? Not quite at the moment. Salford have made it stick, and all the while Wolverhampton are closing in on the pair of them, sneaking in the back there in yellow, as I'm sure you can see. So this could hot up into a battle for 3rd between 3 cars. Right now, Salford in 3rd, Cardiff in 4th, Wolverhampton in 5th. Could this be our next big battle? We've got 3 minutes left. It is all to play for. Dragging the other down through Cardiff. They've got the straight line speed. They've got back into 3rd. They're ahead. Can they outbreak Salford? Yes, they can. Cardiff, Aaron Farmer back into 3rd. Rounding out the top 3, but it's not over yet. 2 minutes or so to go.
Very nice piece of driving. Very nice piece of driving from Cardiff there. Salford are doing a very, very aggressive race today. Our championship runner-ups from last season. Unfortunately, they're a one-driver entry today, so this is the only time we're going to see them on the stream. For the second race, as their penalty, they will have to be in the bottom-tier server. So they're trying to rake in as many points as they can here. Oh, Cardiff as well on the one-driver entry, aren't they?
Also the case on the one-driver of the Cardiff. And I imagine there might be a grudge match in the second one between Salford and Cardiff at the moment, because right now Cardiff have just about held off Salford. Their rear-view mirror bright red with the aggression of Salford driving and burgundy of their car as well. Wolverhampton in the rear there, having a look at them, watching as these two go battling it out, because in a minute, if it all is pear-shaped, Wolverhampton are just going to take the place.
Here comes the sun. Is it going to be enough to dry up the track? There's only 2 minutes left.
I sincerely doubt it. We've got 2 minutes left of racing. Who is going to take 3rd? I think this is the tightest, closest and most exciting battle right now. You're on board with Wolverhampton, watching as Salford and Cardiff battle it out for the final podium position in the first race in the top tier of Formula Student Sim Racing 2023. It's round 3, and there it is, Salford going down the inside, forcing Cardiff. I would have said that. Oh, great driving. I didn't have the words quick enough for the defensive driving from Cardiff. So great was it, in fact, that Wolverhampton have caught up, and as I predicted, this is going to turn into a 3-way for 3rd. Cardiff ahead of Salford, ahead of Wolverhampton. Fantastic stuff. Mazda MX-5s in the rain in Portugal. They're all on the same tyre compound as well, so everyone's tyres should be behaving roughly similar.
Here we go.
Wolverhampton having a look then, as Salford look as well. Salford looking around the inside.
3 aside into turn 1.
3 abreast into the turn 1.
Oh, this ain't going to end well.
Stuff. This could only go one way, and I think it's going to go Salford's way.
Incredible. I was expecting a flat-out contact from all 3 of them there. Very clean driving, guys. Very clean driving. Ah, just as I say that.
Cardiff had the line there. It was inevitable, but Wolverhampton coming straight back on the inside onto that left-hander. So at the moment, Wolverhampton are battling Cardiff for 4th. As Cardiff, desperate to get back to 3rd where they were, Salford out-dragging all of them, getting away cleanly. This leaves Cardiff trying to pick up the pace, and they're busy trying to be defensive because Wolverhampton are coming through. Cardiff down into 5th now as Wolverhampton come through to take 4th. Salford in 3rd. 15 seconds left. Can Cardiff do anything? They've been in 3rd for the vast majority of this race, and it's all gone pear-shaped in the last 2 minutes. Gutting for Aaron Farmer as he looks for a way round the Wolverhampton car, but there doesn't seem to be anything. And in the lead, as you can see, they've been there since the start. Bolton taking the checkered flag. It looks to me as it's going to be the case. Yui,
they've closed in. They've closed
less
in.
than a second in 2nd position there. Salford rounding out your top 3, as we've just been saying. Wolverhampton in 4th, Cardiff in 5th, University of Glasgow Racing in 6th. Trinity St David in 7th, Coventry in 8th, in 9th it's Southampton, and in 10th it is Kingston. Rounding out the top 10 as I see it. They've just got across the line now. This looks to be a really solid race from Bolton, completely dominant. No drama, no phase, a very, very clean nose. And I have to say, just hats off to them. Holding it firm in conditions like that, no mean feat, especially with a car that's as temperamental as the MX-5 is. In second, then, UE in third, Southampton. Wolverhampton in fourth. In Cardiff, we have the fifth position. And Glasgow are in sixth. Not a lot of change. In fact, they've all stayed the same. There it is, crossing the line then. You're on board with University of Glasgow Racing in sixth. Coventry there in eighth. Wales Trinity St David up ahead of them in seventh. It's Southampton in ninth. In 10th, Kingston crossing the line there.
Drag race for 11th.
Oh, dearie me, I thought Hull were going to have 11th, but no, they got overtaken.
Yep, there we are. Sheffield Hallam nicks 11th place right at the end, off from Hull there.
Amazing. Nice
drag race there. And it looks like University of Edinburgh Napier held on to 13th. A drag race there as well with them. And OUR, the Hungarian team, in 14th position. TUI Ilmanu in 15th. Pole position, say it, Leon. What am I on about? University of Leon down in 16th. Oh, they will be gutted after that. Such an amazing job getting pole position for that race. South Wales in 17th. Porto in 18th. Thailand, the Songla, our Thai team, DNF in the end there, Giles. What a shame.
They DNF.
A DNF in the end, so they did not finish. And the University of Portsmouth alumni team, 4 laps behind, so something as well must have happened to them as well.
Dearie me, a race full of drama then.
You can say that again. I cannot believe that. Of course, all these results are provisional, guys. We are now going into a 5-minute break as we wait to get the next server set up for race 2. Don't go away. There's a whole nother race to come. So go and grab yourself some drinks, some refreshments. We'll be back in a couple of minutes, ready to show you what the second race looks like.
every time I try to go to sniff, and I'm like, which mic am I muting?
Grim. Oh, well, never mind. Oh, hello, everyone. Sorry, I've just hit the wrong button there, so we've just come back on unexpectedly there. Sorry, we're having a nice... We're just having a nice casual conversation there about our cups of tea and stuff like that. Yes. So, guys, the server is set up, and Giles, 3 words to describe what we're looking at just now.
I mean, I'm just watching because I've got a delay. I can see the YouTube. I've just got me coughing all over the place. Thanks very much for that one, Monty. It's cold season here in Cardiff, so you'll have to forgive me. I'm a little under the weather, but I'm doing my best to soldier on. What I'm looking at right now is the server as it is, as the teams are on their outlaps for the second race. I'm delighted to be able to tell you that Southampton are in pole, so normal service has resumed. Having said that, I don't think you can consider the conditions that the drivers will be competing in for this second race to be normal. Because what you've got here is a swimming pool with some tarmac under it.
There we are.
As I can tell you.
Here's some live feed.
Absolutely vile. If you can see on your screens now, you'd be better off with an Olympic medal in swimming than you would be competing as a driver in this. I would not be surprised if this were reality. This would be red flag. This would be red flag, but that's the miracle of sim racing. No one gets hurt, only egos get bruised if you let them. But I'm really hats off to the drivers for this, because below me, I would not want to be driving in that. I've got a funny feeling you're going to be adding 10 or 20 seconds onto a lap in each of these chases, because this just looks more than hazardous. This looks frankly dangerous. We're going to get a lot of action. You're going to have to bear with us, because you'll be having cars tumbling down the running order, and there are only 2 of us, and we've only got 4 eyes between us, so we can only look in so many places, but there'll be a lot of action, no doubt. I don't expect the lap times to be as significant as they were. I mean, they're going to get bigger.
Yep.
These cars are going to be a lot slower during this. Will that impact on the aggression of the drivers? I should probably think so. I can only imagine, but I really do think you're going to have a lot of drivers easing it off here. Will you get as much reel-to-reel racing? That is the question. Counting down now as free practice draws to an end for the second race here at Formula Student Sim Racing 2023. It's round 3. We're in Portugal in the pouring rain. This is more like the Nürburgring in Portugal. Absolutely vile conditions. You're on board there with Southampton.
I think there's going to be a very short debate for this race, Giles, as to what's the correct tyre to be on. Slicks or wets?
One has to question the intelligence of a person who chooses slicks in these conditions.
Yes, quite exactly. Adam Watson's commenting on YouTube and saying I need a boat for race 2, not a Mazda. Well, I mean, these things are kind of shaped like a speedboat, aren't they? So close enough.
I genuinely love the Mazda MX-5. It's always been a personal favourite of mine. Having said that, they are rather difficult to drive. We've got some really great insight in the commentary box here. We were reading through the comments, and Honda Project let us know that driving the MX-5 actually takes quite a bit of skill when all you can drive are Formula cars, though. So this could be really, really interesting. These cars aren't the easiest of things to drive anyway, and all of a sudden you've now opened the heavens, and suffice to say, whilst this race may not be the most intense in terms of speed, in terms of driver control and skill, this is what it all comes down to.
Yes, I can see this race turning more into elements of survivability rather than who can be the fastest, and again, who's going to keep their nose the cleanest. They're the ones that's likely going to be at the top once this has all finished. Don't you agree, Giles?
Formula Student does Battle Royale, if you've seen that film. Far better than the video games, trust me. But anyway, right now you're on board with Southampton. You are looking at the rear end of Hull there.
I've just realised these cars don't have any roofs. Thank goodness this is virtual, not real life, because these poor drivers would be soggy.
If you're watching this and your housemate or your flatmate or your friend is nearby and they are racing in this event and you're watching this live, get some water and throw it on them so they get the real feel of what this would be like, the real simulated racing. If anyone's living with Aaron and wants to chuck some water on him, feel free. Aaron racing for Cardiff. But because Cardiff only entered 1 driver in the event this week, that means they're down into the bottom tier as a result of that. Not the only team that that's happened to this week.
No, unfortunately, we've got quite a few one-driver entries for this weekend, so unfortunately they, as a penalty, will be in the bottom-tier server for the second race, which has provided us with a couple of new names for this race.
So
I see we've got Team 16. I'm putting myself on the spot here. I'm forgetting how to even pronounce your name. The University of Stavanger. There we go. And Team 34, University of Manchester. Welcome to the top tier racing, guys. Glad to have you on board. Hope you enjoy it up here. OUSR. The University of Oxford are here, guys. And there's no Cambridge. No. Damn, what a shame. That would have been great fun to have another Cambridge and Oxford battle. Who else have we got? We have Hull.
Oxford University Student Racing. That's what I think OUSR stands for.
I should know this. I should know this. I'm the event captain, but my brain is working like a goldfish at the moment, so I will not be able to correct you or not.
Your brain working as a goldfish wouldn't be the worst thing in the world given the track conditions.
Yes. Well, there we are. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Hang on, that's a Disney quote. I better stop there, otherwise I'm going to get sued. Moving on. So here we are.
In a minute.
Absolutely, quite. So here we go. We've got we're just in the break now, guys. So the server has just finished the warm-up. We have now got a 2-3 minute wait. We're going to see the grid begin to populate with all the drivers. Oxbridge battle for 16th. Yes, Andrew, I quite agree with you on that one. That would be great to see. Nice to see Coventry were testing out the wets there in the warm-up. I don't think they needed to have a discussion on that one. Fair play for them for gambling on the slicks. They were the only team to make it work in the first race, but no discussion, no question this time what we need to be on. Just look at how dark it is as well, Giles.
Indeed it is. So your top three, as we have it on the grid right now, the University of Southampton are on pole. Glasgow in second. Leon, they were in pole before the first race, and then they had a bit of a technical mishap, and they ended up way back down the grid. But they're in third now, so that'll be all to play for them. Then Bolton are in fourth. OUR, of course, in fifth. That is the Obada University from Hungary. Coventry are in seventh, so they've been testing out the wets. I don't think they were using the wets earlier, but suffice to say, probably be a good idea now. Hull in sixth, back down in eighth. It's OUSR. That is the Oxford University Student Racing Team, as I'm calling it, because, well, why not? Meanwhile, in ninth, you've got the University of Wales, Trinity St David, and then University USM. It's on my screen here. I'm reading through. I've got the cheat sheet, and I'm reading it live. I should have revised, but instead I've been doing uni work. How these drivers find the time to do this and uni work is beyond me. Real testament to the fact that they have to do a lot of practice to even qualify for this. So they're juggling their degrees and taking part in the sim racing series. So fair play to them. It's Thunderbolt and Lightning, very, very frightening here in Portugal as we go live for the second race here at Formula Student Sim Racing 2023. It's round 3, Mazda MX-5s. Suffice to say, it doesn't take a lot of imagination to realise that everyone is going to be on the exact same compound.
10-second countdown.
Better off on water skis. 10 seconds to go then. Race 2. Southampton on pole.
Jump start. Bolton have creeped the grid already. They may get a penalty for that.
6 lights. Lights out. Away we go. Bolton then prep the grid. Southampton away. All away cleanly but relatively slowly. It's quite a tentative start from all the drivers as they head down to turn 1.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
My days.
There we go.
Forget sim racing. It's become Dance of Your Life. They're doing the Valera.
What a shame, and Leon again at the back. No.
Unbelievable. Absolutely gutting for a lot of these drivers. Immediately turn 1, carnage. Off, left, right and centre. Managing to hold firm though. Southampton in pole. Bolton have crept up into second ahead of University of Glasgow Racing. Hull in fourth. In University of Oxford are there in fifth. but they've just been overtaken by Wolverhampton then.
Oh!
As I said, it's going to be slow, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be wheel to wheel as Wolverhampton are battling it out with University of Oxford. Hull in fourth. Kingston have just crept by us all into Kingston, just crept by all of us into fifth. Hull in fourth. University of Oxford there, holding off.
That's Obidio. No, apologies. That's Oxford off. What a shame.
Oxford have gone. Unbelievable stuff happening here. And I think we need to wait for everything to settle down a bit before we actually start telling you where cars are, because at the moment...
And that's Wolverhampton out at the back. Oh!
What?
That's Wolverhampton. That's them off as well. Obidio are off. Wolverhampton are off. Coventry are off. Oxford are off. That's put Leon back up into 12th. Look at this. 25 seconds already after just one lap from Southampton to Obidio in 16th. Absolute carnage out here, guys.
I really would love to tell you what's going on, but to be quite honest with you, it's absolute mayhem. The only thing I am certain of is the fact that Southampton started in pole and remained in pole. Great stuff from them, a very controlled start. That is the advantage of starting in pole position. You don't have any traffic ahead of you, and in conditions like these, traffic is the last thing you need. In second, it's Bolton. Glasgow are in third. In fourth, it's Hull. We're on board with them right now. In fifth, it is is that UPR? I should get glasses.
Correct, yep, that's Portsmouth, the alumni team, up into 5th. Fantastic from the back of the grid. They've kept their nose clean. They're in for a big haul of points. They can just carry on like this now.
Fantastic result for Portsmouth. Right now, you're on board with USN. That is the University of Strathclyde in 6th. Kingston in 7th. I wish coming out of Volk, this is great. We were talking about this earlier. Earlier on, the rain was relatively light. It was just coming off of the windscreen wipers. But right now, these drivers are driving into clouds of spray coming off their competitors. And the further back down the grid you are, the more spray is up on the track. You want to be up ahead. And you can see here, the drivers almost crawling round the track. Nowhere near the pace we were seeing in race 1 earlier. On board there with the University of Oxford, and we're not quite getting the wheel-to-wheel action that we got earlier on, but yet again, this is just a real test of the driver's skill. You can see here, it is just an absolute nightmare. Drivers flying past left, right and centre. You can't tell what's a car and what's a light. There's a flash of lightning there. University of... What on earth was that? Just straight into the rear of Leon from the University of Oxford. It was like there wasn't a car ahead of them. Coming back onto the track, they've been overtaken by Coventry, rightfully so. That was a dramatic off. Having said that, at this point, pressing your brakes, you might as well just press the bell for a waiter. No one's going to turn up, nor are the brakes in conditions like this.
I have to say, looking at our onboard shot here, I feel like Oxford have forgotten to assign a hotkey for their windscreen wiper, because they would desperately need that at the moment, as Stavanger have just spun off there. That's who we've just gone past.
Stavanger spinning away then.
That's them down to 15th. That's Leon up to 11th now. The recovery drive begins, but my goodness, Giles, 28 seconds after just the first lap. Coming up to the end of the second lap now, 28 seconds from first to last. This is seriously Southampton and Bolton's to lose now. They're just streaking away. 6 seconds ahead of Glasgow in third. To be fair, having a really good ding-dong now with Hull for third and fourth. Here we go, side by side as we do the run-up to the start-finish line.
I wasn't expecting wheel-to-wheel racing. I sit corrected as Glasgow battered it out with Hull for third. Hull diving down the inside. Glasgow just got the advantage there, getting ahead as they go through that right-hander towards the start-finish straight. Glasgow holding on to third position. Hull really want it, knocking on the door. There's a lot of rear end there for Hull to knock on. As they go through and they find a gap, they go for the inside line, down the pitch straight.
Bolton in the pits as this is all happening. They had a drive-through.
Hull have got up into second as a result of that. Glasgow down in third, having lost that position to Hull. Bolton got a drive-through penalty, so they're all up in positions. Hull back on track now, having served that drive-through penalty, I think, for jumping the start.
Yep, that's correct. I'm just looking at the server here. That was exactly what it was for. A little creep forwards whilst the lights were coming on, and that was enough to give them a drive-through penalty. So the charge is on for Bolton now. Amazingly, because they managed to pull away from everyone in that first 2 laps, That's really mitigated the damage there. They've lost 20 seconds, which in theory should put you to the back of the grid. But because it's already so spread out the field, look, they're still in 5th.
It's not even raining. That is just bucketing down now. As Southampton just ease themselves away from their nearest rivals with an 8-second gap to the second place car, Hull. Glasgow there, not too far behind. Right now, we are on board with Kingston and
Lassonde. It's Lassonde, our Canadian counterparts here. Now, I'll tell you what, if there's some drivers who should know how to drive in the rain, it will definitely be the Canadians. It's a very...
snow, isn't it?
Wow, that's in winter. In summer, you get up to a balmy 10 degrees, you know.
I'll be honest with you, I don't know what Canada looks like in the summer. Or I've got images of rain and snow. My touch points for Canada culture are the fact that the X-Files was filmed in Vancouver, and in Toronto it's Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Meanwhile, back on track, moving away from distraction that is pop culture, the song are from Canada, and they're knocking on the door of Kingston, trying to get through there in the rain. And meanwhile, they're going round. Oh, this is really close, and Rasson dropping down into 9th. Trinity St David get past there. We're on board with the Canadians. The Welsh have got past. They're knocking on the door now of 7th place. It's Kingston up ahead.
Nicely done. And I've also noted that Bolton have moved up into 4th position now. The hunt is on. Let's see if they can get up to 3rd before this race is done. They've got 7 seconds to claw in from Hull. We'll see if they can do it or not. But meanwhile, Manchester and Lassonde.
Manchester have just gone straight past one that didn't have a reply to that, and no answer at all.
That was a free invitation, that one was.
To be honest with you though, how defensive can you be? How aggressive can you be in these conditions? One mistake and you're right down the back of the grid.
Well, that's for the drivers to decide, I'm afraid, and it looks like some of them are really gambling, some of them are not making it work. However,
Hull and Glasgow battling out for 2nd place.
Nice.
On board then with these two drivers. Glasgow going well wide as Hull slide on past. And when the track's this wet, they really are sliding past. Hull up into 2nd, and I think they really have made that stick. There's a half-second gap already between the Northerners and the Scottish.
oh, but wide off that corner there. Bad exit. That will give Glasgow a chance to give it a lunge into the hairpin, and if not, just keep it tidy, and we'll come back to them. I don't think that's the end of this battle yet, Giles.
No, definitely not. OUR, meanwhile, are battling it out from Lassonde and Manchester, having a go at it again. We're back with these guys, the Canadians and the Mancunians, battling it out for 9th. Lassonde have just gone up into 9th. Originally, they lost that position to Manchester. Leon down in 11th. Not, I say down, there's not much separating a lot of these drivers. There's 11 seconds between Southampton in 1st, Hull in 2nd, and there's just about a second or so between the rest of the drivers, or thereabouts. Meanwhile, Coventry have taken it down into 13th, having lost out to OUR. That is Óbuda University over in Hungary. Coventry all over the Hungarians' rear end then as they try to take back that position that they lost out on. And Óbuda going wide, inviting Coventry through. Kingston up in 8th meanwhile. The action, as we said, is everywhere during this. Coventry have just gone past Óbuda. We're on board with Kingston at the moment. The battle for 8th. Slipping and sliding. Oh my days, how are these drivers maintaining control? The water is just lacing the track with... So, there's no grip anywhere.
Absolutely not. Nicely held by Kingston there. Having said that, it does seem to be brightening up a little bit, so it'll be interesting to see how quickly the track can start to drain. But that was so much rain at the beginning.
Right down the grid. Coventry, there's been a mishap with Coventry. They've gone right down to 16th. Manchester past Leon now. We're on board with Lassonde, the Canadians, as they try and take Kingston. Manchester up behind them then. They're grouping together. It's all played for here in midfield. It always is on this track.
Tank slapper for Manchester there.
Down to 11th. Leon up to a 10th. A mistake there from Manchester.
Side by side around this last corner in the wet. That is not what you want to be doing. But Leon, they found grip on the outside. Oh no, there we go!
It's gone! Oh dear me, Leon gone. A little clap
oh!
for Manchester and it's
oh no!
Leon.
Wow, okay. Through the wall and back onto the track again. Oh! That is going to be interesting. I wonder if we're going to be hearing about that in the post-race debrief, Giles.
Was that fair game? Is the question. That's up to the stewards. Meanwhile, we're on board with Lassonde as they battle Kingston for... No, yeah, it is Kingston and Lassonde battling it out for 8th. Pink of the Canadians against the blue of Kingston. Meanwhile, up ahead, University of Glasgow Racing battling it out with Hull for 2nd place. Glasgow losing the position briefly there. They're all over the rear end of Hull. This feels like a bit of deja vu. Going down into the right-hander, the spray leaping from the rear of Hull's car, making it harder for Glasgow to see a way round. Can we get the driver's view from Glasgow? Thank you very much, James. So there you can see it. The windscreen wipers doing their very best, but the glare, the sun, as James was saying, has returned, and the glare is making it 10 times harder. The spray, there it is, leaping from the rear of Hull's car, not the position the University of Glasgow want to be in. They lost that position just now to Hull, and now they're on the hunt to take it back. Going wide, I felt like a bit of tail kicking out there, as the grip is just going away. The track, it's spotting, it's patchy. Like here, it's absolutely soaking wet, and yet in other places, it's dry and it's beginning to dry out, and that's what makes it even harder. 1 minute there's grip, the next instance there isn't, and at the moment, it doesn't look to me like Glasgow have got really much of a response to Hull. The gap opening up to almost 2 seconds between the two teams there.
Very good driving from all of them here. Very careful. However, I'm still keeping an eye on Bolton here. They've got the gap down to 5 seconds now, so they are definitely raking it in. They're trying to get back into this second position battle here. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them join him before this race is done, Giles. However, I'm also just noting through here, something has happened to Kingston because they're now a DNF. So after battling for the top 10, they are now out of this race, which is such a shame.
Massive shame indeed. I think I saw them tumbling down to the end of the grid, but I wasn't expecting them to be a DNF. I just saw them spin off. Maybe they sustained damage that was irreparable. We'll have to find out about that later. Your top 10 on your screens right now. It's Southampton in 1st, Hull in 2nd. They've taken that from the University of Glasgow, who are trying to call it back with a 2-second gap. They're in 3rd. In 4th, NCME. That is, of course, the University of Bolton. We've been talking about them. They've got a gap to make up, but it's closing as we speak. University of Strathclyde quietly sitting there in 5th. Not much drama with them. They're just quite happy to stick around and crack on. Portsmouth are in 6th. University of Wales, Trinity St David in 7th. Manchester in 8th. In 9th, it's Obida. And in 10th, it's the Canadians. It's Lassonde. Rounding out the top 10, we're on board with Wolverhampton as they're battling with Lassonde.
Oh, pushed completely out of the way there, Wolverhampton. They did not like that. Look at that, flash of the lights and everything to show their disregard and not disregard at all, but their disgust for that move there. There we are, disapproval indeed.
Meanwhile, gone wide there. Who's gone wide? That's Leon in pink gone wide. University of Oxford up into 10th. They've not had the best race, but they've managed to claw it back. They're back into the top 10. Somewhat surprisingly, wasn't expecting to see that. Can they make it stick? They've got 10 minutes to hang on, and they've got a heck of a lot of traffic behind them that will want that position. And in fact, already it's happened. Lassonde battling with Oxford University. They're down to 11th as University of Oxford take it back from Lassonde. Wolverhampton there as well. So everybody past 10th.
Nice driving from all of them here. They're keeping it fair, they're keeping it clean, they're keeping it close, but they're not giving anyone an inch. This is how racing should be, especially in these conditions here. Nice job, guys. Nice job.
Meanwhile, in 6th, you've got Wales, Trinity St David as they hold off. Portsmouth behind them in 7th. They're having a look there. There's about a second's gap as I make it on my screen. The weather conditions here are really just appalling. I can't believe we even held the race. Well, I can believe we held the race because no one's going to get hurt. That's the benefit of simulation. But having said that, were it real life, this would have been red flagged long ago. Manchester up 8th moment, battling it out with OUR.
Nice little slide there from OUR. Managed to hold on to it though. They live for another day. They hold on to that 9th position there. I have noted though, the rain has actually stopped, Giles. Not going to be enough to get the track dry because look at how sodden it is, but the thunderstorms have seemed to have disappeared and there are clear skies ahead now.
what I've been saying is the fact that you're going to have sections of the track that have dried out where they caught the sun. And in other cases, you're going to have it where it's absolutely soaking in the grip. It's going to be so patchy, you're not going to know where to go.
Nice driving from all of them here. The Manchester holding on around the outside there from Obuda. Oxford also with Wolverhampton right behind. Just as I say that, Manchester run wide. Obuda up to 8th, Manchester down to 9th. Oxford still holding on to 10th. What can Wolverhampton do? 400 laps of practice these guys have done. They will not be impressed with these results at all.
Time and tide, wait for no man, and Oxford aren't going to have much time to wait because Wolverhampton will want that top 10 position. They're looking for a way round already. Looking round the outside they go. Oxford still holding on, defensive immediately. But there we go. Almost to Wolverhampton have the inside line, but not quite. As Oxford University managed to hold on to it. If you want to see the behind the scenes, you can join me on my Instagram. I'm streaming my reactions live at Giles_Cosgrove. So you can check my reactions live, but stick with it on track at the moment as they pile through the puddles. It's not a very exciting word, is it? Puddle. There's got to be another word for that. Someone let me know. Right now, on
splash
your screens,
zones.
Oxford University. Splash, there we go. Diving through the splash zones. We're on board with University of Glasgow. They've made it past Hull. Hull have taken back the position. It is very exciting here. The battle for second place between Hull and Glasgow has been going on throughout the race. Little bit of sideways action from Glasgow. Not quite finding the grip that Hull have managed to get through that corner. The gap opening up to a second or so. The spray, the water just flaring up from the track. The torrential rain is over. The results, definitely not.
Definitely not. But look what's behind them now, Giles. I see a Bolton.
Oh, here it is. It is a Bolton indeed, and this is what happens. You get two cars so adamant about fighting for a position, they forget to check their rearview mirrors, and all of a sudden another car comes along. And plenty of times we've seen it this season. That third car, the third man, will just slide on through without a care in the world and let the other two bat it out. And I think that's what we're about to see here. Glasgow have got the inside line. They've taken the position. Glasgow up into second here in Portugal. Hull, will they have a response? All over the rear end, looking for a way round through the splash zones.
Nicely executed by both of them there. Clean exit. I think we're hold station going into the hairpin here. They're going to be very conscious now. 2 seconds the gap from Bolton to them now. They know that they've been squabbling this whole time. That's allowed Bolton onto it. Oh.
You see Bolton in the rear of your screens lurking there.
And Glasgow are off.
Glasgow are gone. Spinning away there. Glasgow down into fourth. Hull going through. Bolton going through. As I said, Bolton just picking it off like vultures waiting for the Lions to finish with the Buffalo. This isn't a nature documentary, this is Formula Student Sim Racing, and as we have it, as you've just seen, the top three have taken a dramatic change. Glasgow spinning away there, under pressure from Hull, they couldn't quite hack it. Southampton well away, 20 seconds ahead, in first. In second now we've got Hull, and in third, dramatically, it is Bolton.
I can't believe it. There's still so much going on in this race, Giles. It's amazing. And it's the usual championship protagonists up at the top there. Glasgow are going to be kicking themselves for that because they have more to lose than Hull do in this battle at the moment. That's just given Bolton a chance to streak away from Glasgow in the championship standings as well.
What's really interesting is that spin has cost Glasgow 4 seconds. 4 seconds separate Bolton and Glasgow, third and fourth. Bolton might not be in third for much longer. They're having a look. There's about a second between them and Hull. As the track begins to dry out, it's spotting, it's patchy, as is the grip, as is, I imagine, the confidence that these drivers have in their cars. It is all about driver ability in this competition. About a second between the second and third place cars. We've got 4.5 minutes. It's got to go wheel to wheel at some point. The question is when. I'm expecting it sooner rather than later. You're on board with Bolton and Hull as they batter it out. And I think Bolton have gone through. As I've been talking, just quite simply, with no drama, Bolton have just gone through.
Timing glitch there, Giles.
Taking it back then.
Timing glitch there. Don't worry. That's Hull still very much in second position there. Bolton in third. Not quite sure what happened on the timing board there, guys, but nope. Rest assured, it's still second and third.
Now.
Very close.
This could be where it happens. there's a glitch in the matrix, but there's not a glitch in the confidence that Bolton have got in themselves to take that position from Hull. It's just a question of timing it right, finding that grip, finding the position, waiting for Hull to make a mistake. And bear in mind, this track is soaked. It is likely that even the best driver is going to make a mistake at some point. Bolton just have to be patient, pile on the pressure, and wait for it to happen.
Bolton have a lot more to lose from this than Hull. Hull are much further down in the championship. They don't care what happens. They just want a good result tonight to try and get them back up here. Bolton, they have a championship lead to try and defend here. They won't go for anything silly, but they need those championship points because if Southampton win tonight, and they're only second, there's only 2 points between them in the championship, so they will need every point. But we've just seen what's happened to Glasgow before. Push it too hard, that's it. You've lost 2 places, and that's even more points lost.
Glasgow clawing it back. They've notched a second away from the gap between them and the second and third place cars, down to 3 seconds now. Bolton desperate for a way round Hull. Hull quite comfortable in second, but Bolton not willing to compromise their race. They would rather the third than make something silly happen and lose a lot of positions. But there's got to be some sort of move eventually. Having said that, Hull look to be pulling away now. Is it all over for Bolton? Will they have to settle for third? 2.5 minutes or so left of this race. Bolton getting a bit close to Hull there, but not enough for a move. But looking round the outside, still no way round. They're not close enough yet to actually be able to take advantage of their position. And oh, could it be here? Could it be now? Looking to the inside. Bolton looking for a big move round Hull. Bolton have got the side line, but defensive driving of the best of its kind from Hull, and they put a stopper on any sort of action that Bolton can make around them. Going down the start-finish straight, you have the second and third place cars. Bolton trying to out-drag Hull. Oh, here it goes. They're side by side into turn 1. This is the battle for second place, and it looks to me like Bolton have just about managed to make it stick.
Nice driving again from both of them here. There's a lot on the table, a lot on the cards here. Bolton, though.
Oh, this could be good, and I think they managed to make that work for themselves, but Hull have got something to say about it. There's only a nose's width between them.
Ooh.
Less than a tenth of a second at times.
Glide from Bolton out of that corner.
Reply.
I think Hull will respond to this. Bolton slid through that corner there, Giles. It's not over yet.
Hull have got the momentum. They're going side by side.
Defensive driving.
Managed to make it work. Some great defence from Bolton, who are determined to make sure they maintain that second position, because that's going to make a world of difference to them in the championship. As we've already been saying, it doesn't matter for Hull. They're way down there. They're just happy to be there, but they also want to be where they were as they try and find a way round Bolton. It's Hull versus Bolton for second place here in Portugal.
Nice driving from both of them there. Main championship protagonists, Bolton's recovery drive. They will be kicking themselves that they had that jump start at the beginning, because look, it's just allowed Southampton to streak away 24 seconds ahead. In fact, they're so far ahead, they got a chance to do another lap. 30 seconds left. They're coming onto the last corner now. This might be the last lap. There might be an extra. It's going to be close, guys. I'm going to keep an eye on the servers just to see what's going on. I'm sure Hull will be praying there's another lap to go, but I suspect this is going to be the last lap, actually, Giles. 10 seconds to go as we go around the last corner.
We're on board with Southampton. Can they cross the line before we reach 0 time? I don't think so. Yeah, no, they can't. This is the last lap, and it's Southampton's race. They've won this. They have been cool, calm, and collected throughout as they cross the line to take first in the second race, Tier 1 of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series. We look now to Bolton as they have indeed managed to hold off Hull. I think they've got this in the bag. Hull haven't got an answer. There's just too much of a gap there as they pile on down the start-finish straight. Bolton taking second place. What difference is that going to make to the championship proceedings? We'll be able to get that for you very soon. University of Wales, Trinity St David on your screens now in 5th.
Holding off onto 5th there. I think they made a last lap pass on Strathclyde by the looks of things on the timings there. Portsmouth alumni in 7th. Obuda coming around the last corner now to finish 8th. That's a good representative from Seoul University from Hungary. Wolverhampton, 9th position. I tell you what, I think they were hoping for a lot more than that this evening, Giles, after the amount of practice and effort they put into this one. No worries, we'll see them coming back stronger the next time, I'm sure. And rounding out the top 10, battle for top 10, over the line we go. It's Oxford and Coventry. Here we go, drag race.
Oh, who's going to make it then? Who's going to have the 10th position as the thunder and lightning crashes across the line? Goes Oxford.
Coventry take it on the line. Coventry's taking it on the line.
That was a photo. I could have sworn Oxford had that. No way.
Just having a look at the timings now. Let's have a look.
From where I saw it, crossing that line, I thought Oxford crossed it first. I could be wrong. The timings look like it is wrong, but I don't know. A photo finish there for the top 10, the final position in the top 10. Was it Coventry or was it Oxford University? Drama in the final seconds of the race. I don't know whether we can do replays.
Unfortunately not. That's something I'm working on at the moment. I want to get a nice replay for moments exactly like that. It's showing Coventry 10th on the timings here. We're going to have to wait until after the breaks, guys, to see what the provisional results are published as. So bear with us a couple minutes. We're going to take a quick break because we've got a couple of extra things coming on now. I'm going to go and grab our winners from race 1 and race 2. We're going to go and do an interview with them. And then afterwards, I think we'll discuss the results and what that's done to the championship. Sound good to you, Giles?
According to Double Dash Motorsport Media, Coventry threw the virtual transponder over the line.
I suspect that's exactly what's happened there. Good evening, Mr. Andrew. Very nice to see that you have joined us. Hello, sir.
Hi, Andrew. Lovely to hear from you. We'll be back very shortly here at Formula Student Sim Racing, so do stick with us. We'll have all the coverage, all the reactions to the races we've just seen, all the excitement and the winners of both races at round 3.
Alrighty, so we're offline. Give me a minute. And welcome back, everyone. How was that for some racing tonight? I thought it was great fun. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as Giles and myself did in the commentary box tonight. We've got some special guests with us now, Giles, haven't we?
We do indeed. Joining us in the virtual commentary booth, we have the winners of the 2 races at round 3 of Formula Student Sim Racing Series. From Southampton, we're joined by Will Hare, and from Bolton, it's Fen Groob. Gentlemen, thank you ever so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you here. What racing we saw this weekend. Unbelievable stuff. Congratulations to both of you on the wins.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, yeah.
Now, it must be said, it started out damp, it got moist, and then all of a sudden it was torrential. Suffice to say, a win in conditions like that for both of you must have been no mean feat. How did you manage that then?
It was definitely a challenge. I'll let you go, Will.
No, you go. You were started.
Okay. Yeah, it was definitely a tricky race, especially having the 45 kilogram weight penalty that we've taken for this round. Definitely made things a bit more difficult. You just notice it on the uphill stretches where the opponents without the weight penalty, they're just gaining that little bit on you and trying to plan where you're going to brake. It makes it a bit more difficult, especially for the last sort of couple laps of the race. Second place was really starting to close in on me and I was starting to make a few little mistakes, but managed to just keep my cool and bring it home.
Yeah,
Absolutely fantastic. What about you, Will?
I mean, slightly different. The weight wasn't too big an issue. It was more sliding around on the wet conditions we had out there. Trying to keep it on the track for the whole 25 minutes was quite challenging, but kept it going in the end and somehow managed to pull out quite a big lead out of the rest of the pack.
Absolutely. The lead you ended with was almost cataclysmic in its size. I mean, it made the Grand Canyon feel small.
I mean, yeah, I just kept driving, keeping on the track. I don't think I did anything special. I don't really know what was happening behind me anyway.
Not a lot. There was about 20 seconds, so I imagine you look in your rearview mirror and it's just clear road. Having said that, looking in your rearview mirror at the moment, both of you, the reason we got you on together, both of you are part of teams that are doing significantly well in this year's Formula Student Sim Racing competition. You're 2 big proponents of the battle for the win that will come in July when we go to Silverstone for the final. How are you both feeling about each other? I'll let you go first, Will. You've got Sven, you've got Bolton constantly battling it out with you. How are you feeling?
It's quite nice to have some good competition. Hope we can keep it up for the rest of the season, and then, well, ideally we'll end up on top. That's all I can say from that, really.
In reply to that, Sven, what do you think?
Yeah, I think so far the challenge between us all has been really good. It's been really enjoyable how close we've all been, especially with other universities all coming in and getting really close. It's been really good, and I hope it can carry on for the remaining rounds because the rounds look really interesting.
It makes our job in commentary a lot harder because you don't know where to look on track. Having said that then, coming into the next series of rounds, how are you guys for practice? Because we were talking earlier, Wolverhampton putting in hundreds of laps, not quite turning them into results, bless them. But in terms of your strategies going into preparation for the next rounds coming up in the series, how are you? What are you planning to do? What time have you got allocated? What are your setups like?
I think on our behalf, we've got a really good team. So everybody, if someone isn't driving, they're doing a lot of setup work, a lot of like qualifying runs, that kind of thing, race runs, trying to get the best and optimal setups. So we've got a really motivated team that are pushing to try and get us the best results, and it's a nice little reward when you get a P1 and a P2 from this round.
Yeah, well, similar to you, we have quite a team behind us pushing different aspects, getting the setups there perfectly especially for this round with the different conditions, like getting both a wet setup and a dry setup. But yeah, it's just getting that work in. We've got quite a lot of time at the moment. When it gets nearer to exams, that may not be the case, but we'll see. We'll have to make time for this.
Talking of making time for things, it's all well and good messing about out here in the world of zeros and ones. It's all virtual, but let's not forget, Formula Student is actually real, and it happens every year at Silverstone. Southampton and Bolton, both teams that have competed significantly well over the years in the real event. How does this sim racing series translate into skill and knowledge and know-how in the real world that can be applied to the Formula Student Series for both of you? Will, I'll let you go first.
I mean, yeah, just mainly the setup work for this, because we're putting a lot of work into developing setups. That sort of follows across into the real car, trying to get a good setup for the competition. And along with that, just the amount of what sort of workload we have to put in on top of this, gives us a good idea of what we need to do well in the competition.
What about you, Sven?
Yeah, it's largely the same as what Will said, really. It's the setup work that we're doing as a team it's brilliant, because we're learning about what works and what doesn't work, and it's things that we can all implement into the real Formula Student event in Silverstone. And just trying to relate what we're doing in these setups, and then hopefully translating that into the real world.
There's a lot of some of the teams running in the sim racing series run their drivers that will compete at Silverstone. Is that the case for both of you? Will you be driving your team's respective cars at Silverstone?
I think everything's a bit up in the air at the moment. There was plans of me being involved in the actual competing, but I think I'm slightly too tall for our car at the moment. So I think packaging me into it is a bit tight at the moment. But I'll definitely be taking a testing role within the team, which should be good to compare how our setups are working within the sim series and hopefully implementing them into real life testing.
I mean, yeah, I'm fairly similar to you. I don't think I'll be driving this year, but I'm mainly focused on this, getting as many points as we can in, and alongside supporting the actual FS car, trying to boost that as much as we can.
Well, that's brilliant stuff from both teams. Southampton and Bolton are winners in round 3, both races here in Portugal, essentially. I say in Portugal, it's all ones and zeros, but what isn't ones and zeros is the talent that these two have. Will and Sven, thank you ever so much for joining us. We look forward to watching you battling out on track throughout the rest of the series. No doubt Southampton and Bolton are going to be there for a fair old while, duking out right the way through to July, where we go to Silverstone for the final. So, gentlemen, thank you ever so much, and best of luck with the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Congrats, guys. Well done. So, guys, on YouTube, apologies we couldn't show their lovely faces. Unfortunately, neither had web cameras. So, if there are any other university teams out there at the moment, if you win one of the races later on the season, make sure you've got your web camera. We want to see you as well, rather than it just being both of our ugly faces for this host stream, you know. So, if you've got a web camera, if you've got a little rig, something like that, we'd love to interview you once you've won your race there. So, just as a heads up, this is going to become a feature we're going to do as the season goes on as well. So, make sure you got your web camera and your best Brill cream going, so we can interview you straight after these races are done.
I mean, even with us two, you can tell which one of us is a gaming streamer and which one of us is a radio presenter who never worries about the visuals. I'll let you have one guess.
Obviously me and the
thank you ever
new
so much.
haircut.
Yes, indeed. I don't have any hair to cut. But thank you ever so much for joining both of us here for round 3 of the IMECI Formula Student Sim Racing Series. I've been Giles Cosgrove. He's been James Montgomery. It's been an absolute pleasure having you with us. So thank you ever so much.
Hang on, Giles. Just before we head off, shall we tell them who won tonight's race? I've got the results.
Give them the preliminary results. Have you got the official or preliminary?
I've got the call it the combined results of race 1 and 2, so we have an idea of how many points and what this will do for the championship. Obviously, there's a 24-hour period of protests, so all these results we're going to call provisional, but subject to any change, which we will publish later on Formula Student's Instagram channel at Formula Student. I can now confidently tell you our winners for tonight are Bolton. Congratulations, Bolton, scoring 95 out of a possible 100 points tonight. They are our round winner. Southampton.
95 out of 100. That's dominant.
That was an impressive score from them. So fair play, a first position and a second position. So even with that drive-through penalty, great recovery drive in the second race to really maximise the points there. Southampton, though they took a victory tonight, their first of the season, they're only coming out of this with 82 points. Glasgow, they ran out the top three on 76 points. University of Wales Trinity St David, great effort from them tonight in fourth position on 73 points. And Wolverhampton, in spite of not being at the top end of the field, they were in the points for both rounds. So they finish on this in fifth on 71 points.
Talking of teams who didn't see a lot of action but seemed to have done remarkably well in the points, University of the West of England over in Bristol scored a 67, which puts them in 6th place. In 7th, we've got the University of Hull with 66, 2 points behind them. In 8th, it's Cardiff University with 64. In 9th, the University of Salford with 63. And rounding out the top 10, it's Coventry University with 58.
So those are our provisional results for tonight, guys. What does this do for the championship standings, however? Well, let's have a look. Obviously, as Bolton have won tonight's race, this means provisionally they have extended their championship lead to 15 points from Southampton in second, Glasgow in third, Wolverhampton still there in fourth, and Hull moving up to fifth after a nice hull of points for them tonight. I'll see myself out.
A nice hull of points. That is appalling.
Thank you. Salford in 6th. Trinity St David move up to 7th with West of England in 8th. Coventry 9th. Obuda, our Hungarian team, in 10th. Strathclyde 11th. Stavanger up to 12th. A good haul of points for them. And Cardiff moving up, making up for lost time now in 13th. University of Leon, in spite of probably leaving tonight's race with less than what they were hoping for after 2 stonking qualifying positions, are still in 14th position in the championship. Portsmouth alumni in 15th. The University of the Basque Country, our other Spanish university, are 16th. TU Ilamanu, our German university, are in 17th. University of Cambridge, fighting for the championship last year, down in 18th at the moment. We could see a good recovery drive from them in the second half of the season. Watch this space. Kingston 19th, Oxford 20th. Moving on to the bottom half of the standings there. Sorry, Giles, what were you going to say?
I just did want to say that the stewards will be looking into what happened in race 1 for Universidad de Leon. As A. Cruz says in the comments on YouTube, and something we've been aware of behind the scenes here, in the previous race they didn't actually let Leon start in pole. For some reason he started in the pits. We don't know why that's happened, but we will be looking into that. Meanwhile, the remaining teams here at Formula Student Sim Racing kicking off. In 21st, we've got the University of South Wales. They've got 94 points. In 22nd, it's York University with 85. Uni of Manchester are there with 82 in 23rd. 24th, it's Sheffield Hallam University with 75. 2 points less, Harriet Watt University. They've got 73, and they're in 25th. 26th, you've got the University of Leicester. 27th, University College London. Polytechnic of Leiria are on 28, on 71. They're in 28th. That's interesting to me because we've actually seen them appear a fair few times in the top server, but they've only got 71 points, which must be a little disappointing for them. Staffordshire University, big team, out on track in reality at the real FS event at Silverstone, but they're lagging behind with only 66 points in 29th. Joint 29th, really, but on your screens is in 30th. University of Aberdeen have also got 66. I'm going to have a real great go at trying to do this, but do bear with me. In 31st, we've got Faculdade de Engenharia da Universidade do Porto with 58 points. University of York are there in 32nd. 33rd, it's Prince of Songkla University. They did a great job today. They did an absolutely outstanding job today here at round 3. Meanwhile, Edinburgh Napier are in 34th with 36 points. 35th, it's Queen's University Belfast. University of Cambridge B team are they're at 36th with 33 points. 37th is University of Dundee. University of Portsmouth are 38th. 39th, University of Hertfordshire. University of Birmingham are at 40th. Karlstad University, not seen a lot of them. They've been lurking around in the bottom server. I've not been commentating on their races, but they've got 12 points. They're in 41st. 42nd, Trinity College Dublin with 6. 43, London South Bank University with 2. And then 44, 45 and 46, University of Liverpool, University of Warwick and Imperial College London have yet to get off the mark.
Ooh, That was a big old list to go through there. Fair play, Giles. So, there we are, guys. 46 teams taking part in this year's series. That's 3 rounds done. We've still got another 5 to go, so it's all to play for, but it's really hotting up at the top. Just a final thing there to say, as we said, we had a top tier server and a bottom tier server running tonight. So just to let you know, so obviously we know that Bolton and Southampton won the top tier server tonight. Just a shout out and congratulations to our bottom tier winners tonight, Stavanger for winning race 1, and Giles, you'll be pleased with this, Cardiff won the second race in the bottom tier server.
Come on, Aaron. Brilliant. I'm not biased at all, I promise. I'm a completely neutral party in all of this.
Of course you are.
But
yes.
That's great to see. Cardiff mounting a comeback after a slightly sullen start from the team from the capital of Wales. It wasn't obvious. I go to Cardiff University. But anyway, moving on from that, we look ahead to round 4. The details behind the scenes will be revealed to the drivers as to what to expect out on track in the coming days. So drivers, keep your eyes peeled. And for you at home, keep your eyes peeled on the Formula Student YouTube channel. Myself and James will be back for round 4 next month. Very excited for that. But for now, I've been Giles Cosgrove. He's been James Montgomery. This has been Formula Student Sim Racing. Thank you ever so much for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.